Here with me now, CNN senior legal analyst and former federal prosecutor Ellie Honig. Ellie, nice to see you. Again, what we know and what we don't know.
Yeah.
Both very important.
So let me start with the easy part of this quiz, what we do know, John. 3 things that we know for sure. Prosecutors, first of all, established probable cause that a specific federal crime was committed. They established that it was likely that they would find evidence at the location at Mar-a-Lago, and we know that that was approved by a federal judge. Okay, we have that in place. The rest of this is unanswered. One of the biggest questions, what evidence did prosecutors use to establish that probable cause? Now, the way you do this as a prosecutor is you have to write out what we call an affidavit in support of a search warrant. These documents can be dozens of pages. This is actually the one from the Michael Cohen case, which was over 200 pages long. This is the Rosetta Stone. This will tell us everything we need to know. Who has it, though? Prosecutors have it. The judge has it, but it's what we call under seal, meaning not available to us in the public. Donald Trump does not have this document in his possession. He won't get it unless there ever comes a day when he is charged. So,
but he does have something.
Exactly. He does have what we call a search warrant. Does he have a copy? Yes. Can he release it? Yes. However, there's fairly limited information in this document. It's 1 page. This is it. This is a sample of it. It tells you where is to be searched, Mar-a-Lago, what are they looking for? It'll say things like documents, papers, computers. It won't get into specificity usually. Who's the judge and when does the FBI have to conduct the search warrant by? However, sometimes there is an attachment to this, and that can tell you here are the crimes that prosecutors allege may have been committed. So Donald Trump does have that document, but it will not give chapter and verse. Another important document that Donald Trump has will answer the question of what did the FBI take from Mar-a-Lago? Now, this is called a return. It's basically an invoice. It's a receipt. The FBI will say, here's what we took out of your property. But again, there is a level of generality to that. They're not going to detail every piece of paper. It will more likely say something like 12 boxes, X number of laptops, that kind of thing. But Donald Trump has that. He can release that too.
Again, if it's innocuous, though, the warrant itself, why wouldn't he release it? Is it a possibility of an attachment that outlines the crimes?
That could well be. I think that would be the most important thing. If there is that attachment, and it fairly frequently does have an attachment to it, it would say, typically, we believe that here's the crimes we established probable cause. Trump may not want that out there.
And again, he could release that if he wanted to.
Absolutely.
So for all the calls from Merrick Garland to come out and say something right now, Trump could do that.
They both have information, but yes, Trump could release that.
All right, what other questions do you have outstanding?
So what documents exactly were still at Mar-a-Lago at the moment the search warrant was executed? Now, we know that earlier this year, there were 15 boxes of documents delivered from Mar-a-Lago to the National Archives. DOJ then obtained those same 15 boxes from the National Archives. Now, DOJ, as our new reporting has shown, started to grow suspicious and learned there were other documents there and started to grow distrustful of the way they were being handled. They went in, did the search warrant, and our reporting now is that DOJ has grabbed about 12 more boxes from Mar-a-Lago. What's in there? We will find out. And then there's a question of why did DOJ exactly use a search warrant instead of less intrusive means? And there's a really interesting history here. Back in June, there was these meetings that Caitlin Collins and others have reported for us, where investigators went and met with Trump's team at Mar-a-Lago, saw that there were shown that there were other boxes of documents in the basement. Then the investigators came back and say, hey, throw a padlock on that, save them for us. So why were investigators okay with that? Why were they okay with those documents staying at Mar-a-Lago for months and months until August 8th, until 2 days ago, when they executed the search warrant? That's an intrusive means, and I think ultimately DOJ is going to have to justify it.
Again, and that's one of the unanswered questions here. The answer to that, if it exists, might explain something.
Yeah.
One of the things being thrown out there by Trump allies is, oh, well, this information was all declassified anyway.
Yeah, so Pam Brown has new reporting that may well be one of the defenses. One of the potential crimes here is mishandling of classified documents, and we may see a defense that, well, Trump actually did declassify it. Now, look, you have to do it while you're president. You can't do it now, many months later. The question is, did he actually declassify? There's no specific form you have to fill out to declassify. The president has broad authority over that. The question is, what does the evidence show? Is there actually proof that he declassified? But watch for that. That could be a battle coming up.
You know, everyone calling for Merrick Garland to come forward with information.
Yeah.
Will DOJ do so?
So he can. He's allowed to. I would love to hear him call a press conference for today and tell us what's going on. But I do not believe he will, given his history, and given a really important prosecutorial principle. You do not talk about pending investigations. Part of that is strategic. Bill Belichick doesn't walk his playbook across to the other sideline and say, here's what we're doing.
No,
right?
he tapes practices.
Well, that's true. Actually,
Allegedly.
Not the best example,
Yeah.
right? But you want to maintain the secrecy of your investigation. You don't want to tell the other team what you're doing. But part of that is also an important principle to protect the rights, the reputation of whoever may be under investigation. Generally speaking, a person who's being investigated doesn't want the attorney general coming out and saying, hey, we believe this person may have committed a crime.
Just last thing,
Yeah.
the proximity of the midterms here. Are they playing into this?
Yeah, so midterms are now exactly 90 days away, and that matters because there's a longstanding DOJ policy. You don't take an over-investigative step like a search warrant that may be politically sensitive within 90 days of the midterm. So they did that search 92 days before. Maybe coincidence, maybe because they were trying to stay out of that 90-day window.
Does it matter that Donald Trump's not running in the midterms?
No, it doesn't. I mean, there's a way to technically construe that memo. Oh, who cares? But who looms larger over these midterms than Donald Trump? You have to be realistic if you're DOJ in construing it.
Ellie Honig, very helpful as always.
Thanks,
Thank
Sean.
you.